Hello and welcome to Won't Be Forgetting That, a podcast talking about all of the most awkward and embarrassing experiences people have had whilst working in the arts and entertainment industry. I'm your podcast host, Seb Muirhead, and today we have a guest. They are a comedian and a filmmaker, Marc Gallagher.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on, mate. So I like to start this podcast off with a nice little compliment. We've had your business partner on before? Is that what we'd call Luke?
Partner.
Yeah.
Some people call him my sexual partner.
Is that what you two call each other?
No. Well, we kind of have a weird relationship in that our partners were always like, we share everything with each other. So we kind of share ourselves. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can cut this part out if you want
let's
as well.
cut it out.
Let's start again. No, I'm joking. But yes, sorry, friend of the show and I suppose friend of yours as well.
Yes.
Luke Goodall. You're Goodall and Gallagher together. Comedically different heights, which I think is a great basis for any comedy duo. But I wanted to start off with a compliment of your web series, The Followers, but I'm afraid the podcasting gods won't allow it because I used that up on Luke. So I'm probably going to have to compliment you on being the number one Australian Harry Potter comedian, I suppose. Is that what you call it?
I mean, someone had to do it, right?
Yeah, no, I genuinely, this is sacrilegious, I know. I'm not the biggest fan of Harry Potter.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, thank you. I can only expect to be attacked after this. But it's fucking funny.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's just little 30-second videos of, is it the PS1 game graphics?
Yes.
So the little PS1 game, I mean, if you haven't seen it, obviously finish this episode first, but then you've got so many of them on your Instagram as well. Hundreds, yeah.
Literally hundreds.
Go and watch them because they are fucking funny. And you just kind of fall down a rabbit hole of watching them, and then you're like, 3 hours later, I should probably, I don't know, do anything with my life. But I very much enjoy that.
I appreciate that, man.
Have you found that that's brought in a lot of people into your comedy, or like have you got two separate groups of people that enjoy your comedy and then people that are your, and I use this in a loving manner, Harry Potter nerds?
No. Look, we're nerds. Totally.
Good.
I'll fully embrace that.
I've got so many friends that are into it, and it just never sat with me for whatever reason. I don't hate it. It's just not for me.
You're probably the normal one out of the two of us. You know, I'm a 38-year-old man who watches Harry Potter.
Not even watches. Who pretends to be Harry Potter?
Exactly right. Look, it's a bit of a weird one. So it's kind of a completely different audience to what I have with Luke. It's like people know us with that. It's more traditional kind of sketch comedy, and this is kind of really offensive Harry Potter parody. Lots of penis jokes. Lots of like poo and wee. But yeah, it was never really something I intended to do either. I didn't intend to be the Aussie Harry Potter guy. It just kind of happened, yeah.
Yeah, but that's you now, isn't it?
It is kind of me now.
Now you'll never escape it.
I'll never escape it.
Because Harry Potter will never die, apparently.
No. Well, there's a reboot coming, so...
is there actually?
Yes. Harry Potter HBO series, yeah.
Oh, shit. HBO, if you're listening, I mean, first off, please just get in touch with me, full stop. But, reach out.
Yeah. I could star in it.
Do you need a... Did you say 38-year-old?
38-year-old. If you want to recast Harry Potter as a 38-year-old Australian man, I think...
Look, I love a swing for the fence in movies, in theatre, anything, honestly. I'd say do it.
Yeah, and hopefully no one addresses it in the show. No. Everyone just treats me like a boy.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why that might sound incredibly creepy as well.
Yes.
Because... a fully grown man pretending to be a school child with other school children. So cast everyone else 38 as well.
Yep.
We'll get around that problem. It's perfect. This might just be a 90s, a comedy American film now as well by the sounds of things. But, it's perfect. I'm up for it. Yes. Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Thompson, the ginger one, they've all had their time. Rupert something.
The ginger one, yeah. Rupert Grint,
yes.
Yeah. He's the one that just did not have anything after the fact, did he?
He had Thunderpants.
He had Thunderpants, and he had that, movie with M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh.
Recently. What was it called? Knock at the Cabin?
Yeah, it is. I think it's that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it actually had a really long name. It was Knock at the Cabin in the Woods. Yeah. It was
yeah. Or no, is it Cabin in the Woods? And I'm sure there's people just shouting at
they're like, you idiots.
Phones just now. Yeah. But again, I'm just saying controversial opinions. Didn't love that film.
No, fair enough. It's not very good. I actually didn't finish it. I got halfway through and I was like, what's Rupert Grint doing in this? And I think that was the last thing I thought before I turned it off. I was like,
I think you were very smart to turn it off.
Yeah.
And I love some of those actors. Dave Bautista, Rupert Grint.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones, they're all doing a great job.
Yeah.
Just And again, M. Night, if you're listening, put me in a movie.
I love him. Yeah, I'm hoping he makes a good movie again.
I don't know what happened there.
No.
I think he was in an M. Night Shyamalan TV show as well.
He wasn't he? Yeah, that
This is a baby, but it's a fake baby, but maybe a real baby.
the
Spoilers.
Apple TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody has Apple TV.
I watched 2 episodes again, and I was like, yeah, not for me.
No,
not for me.
haven't seen any of that yet.
Yeah.
It's not high up on my list if I'm being
fair
honest
enough.
with you.
Fair enough.
Sorry, we'll actually get into the show instead of me just shitting on other things now and saying how
Fine
good you
with
are.
me, yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean, we'll continue with that latter part, obviously. But I always have my go-to questions, obviously, with people from different parts of the industry. So yourself, you're a comedian. I don't know if you classify not classify. I don't know if you call yourself an actor, but definitely an actor as well. I love to ask about auditions. If you have anything from I don't know. You and Luke, I don't know if you lend yourselves to like stand-up comedy quite as much, but like your corporate gigs, I'd say unfortunately Luke told a story on if you haven't listen to the Luke Goodall episode, but where you both really kind of fucked yourself on one of your early filming gigs.
Yeah.
So again, go and listen to that episode if you want to hear what we're talking about. But yeah, if you've been hired by any more pizza shops to
no, that was definitely our last pizza shop gig ever.
So far.
Yes.
So Pizza Hut, Domino's, Eagle Boys, are they still around?
They might be, yeah. Look, and that was another weird thing. We both started in pizza stores. That was both of our first jobs. We've got these weird little connections. Weirdly, I actually don't do much corporate stuff. Everything I've ever been in, I've been asked to be in by a friend.
So you hear that offer only, all right?
Well, that's it. I did one 7-Eleven commercial one time.
Yep.
And it was such a painful experience because they had 6 people from like the corporate industry in the booth with me.
How much do you hate that?
Oh, dude. And it was like 3 lines. It was like slurp it down good or something like that. And
I hate that as well.
Yeah, it was messed up. And then like, so one person would think about it. They'd be like, could you hit slurp a bit harder? And then the next person would add their little thing. Yeah. And then there was someone on the phone as well that they had just phoned in.
Oh, you mean like they were like on a conference call? Oh, shit.
So you get like 5 pieces of feedback.
Yep.
And then you'd have to wait 30 seconds for whoever was on the phone to be like either not listening or just like, yeah, that was fine, whatever. I was kind of like, I don't really like doing these gigs.
You know what? And I love the directors and everything like that on those projects. Like, they know what it is, obviously. They know exactly. It pays their bills. It pays our bills.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Essentially, like at the end of the day, it's not a passion project for anyone.
Yeah.
But the people that are from head office or the non quote unquote creative teams,
are
some of the most painful people to work with. And I'm so grateful for any commercial I've had. And please keep booking me.
Pay good money.
God knows I need the money. But like. Sometimes, you march yourself into. So, was this a voiceover one? This one?
It was a voiceover booth.
So
yeah.
It's like daunting. You're just standing in a little booth with, I don't want to say dead faces staring back at you.
Pretty dead, yeah.
Yeah, they're not enjoying themselves very much either.
No one was having fun that day.
Everybody needs to put their input in to prove their worth.
Yeah.
And then I've done a couple of like TV commercials as well. So like you marched into this room with all these people from head office or from like corporate or whatever for whatever you're selling, and they're just staring at you being like, you look different on the audition. Can you do anything about how tired he looks?
This isn't going to play well with the 20s.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, talk about me when I'm out the room. I can hear you. Like, I'm a fucking person, man.
Yeah. So, it's a bit of a weird process, though, isn't it? Because you'd go in there actively being judged.
Yeah.
You know, and same with auditions, which is kind of why I steer clear of them, because I'm like, I just want people who already know me, you know, which is probably the most foolish thing.
No, I don't think it is, though. Like, when you've got your own audience, like you do, like, I mean, like 140,000 on Instagram alone or something like that. You're like, I've got my own audience.
Yeah.
I don't need to go in and pretend to take a shower.
No,
with
that's
like,
it.
I don't know, like with gold coins pretending to rain down at me in a little blue square room for somebody to go, thanks for your time. Yeah. And then you just never hear back from them again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good on you, honestly. I'm jealous. Nobody knows me. I still need to do those things. So I say continue with that. Yeah. And then, I mean, that sucks about the 7-Eleven job.
Yeah. Well,
it's still nice that you got it.
Yeah, true. Actually, total side note, I actually did do another gig. It was for the Dollar Shave Club.
Oh.
And
but I've been with them for years, man.
There you go. So I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not exactly a hairy man.
No, for no one that's in the room just now, which is everyone except us two, you have a beard.
Yeah.
So did they make you shave?
So I've got a really good moustache, but everything on the side is very patchy.
Oh,
my long hair kind of hides it. So anyways, I was doing this commercial where I was shaving, and all of the comments where this guy's beard is terrible. Why is this guy on a Dollar Shave commercial?
That's brutal.
It was literally 10 million views, and 90% of the comments were just ragging on my beard.
Now, can I ask, did that teach you to never read the comments again?
Potentially, yes.
And
yes.
Have you read the comments on other things since then?
Oh, look, I'm actually an avid reader of the comments. I love a negative comment. They're great.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally you'll learn something, but sometimes they're really funny.
I'm just like, I've done the same. I had this one TV commercial where I was advertising a Scotch whiskey, and I am Scottish.
Yeah.
And 90% of the comment, I'd say maybe even more than 90%, were like, this guy doesn't sound Scottish. And I'm like, man, this is just lose-lose, honestly. But I kind of enjoyed the comments as well. Like, they're so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And then, because I don't know whoever runs the marketing team or like the... I don't know, the socials team, they have to reply to a lot of them as well.
That's true. They would, wouldn't they?
Yeah. So you don't have to say anything about Dollar Shave Club, but did they reply to any of the comments? Did you remember?
Yeah, well, they were actually really great. So they actually felt really bad. So they sent me like this gift pack basically saying, I'm really sorry. You copped so much hate for this. And I was actually loving it because I was making content out of it going, look how much people hated my Dollar Shave Club.
So this is like win-win-win.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't bother me at all. It's hilarious.
You got paid. You got a free gift basket, which you may or may not use, but free. And then you got to make content out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And people laughed. Yeah. Which is what I want as a comedian. Like,
well, I mean, that is laughing with you.
Unintentional laughter, yeah.
Still a laugh.
Still a laugh.
So anyone listening, bully people online because it only leads to good things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So please, if you listen to this episode, just write the meanest thing under the Instagram comments if you can. Yeah.
I'll reply.
Yeah. So will I. I just love attention.
Exactly.
But I don't know if we've come in with any prepared stories as well. I usually like to ask the guests to leave the most salacious one till the end. So all these beautiful perverts keep listening until the end. Yeah, nice. Have you got one in mind?
Yeah, well, I've got a few that are really bad, but I'll tell you about the worst one, which we will leave to last. It's very dirty.
I'm so fucking excited. I'm sorry, that came off as creepy. I'm excited to hear the story. I'm not excited because it's dirty.
Well, you're
a little excited.
You know?
No, there's no one else in the room. You can't tell us. Well, cut this part. I am very excited, though, as I cross my legs. But yeah, let's save that till the end.
Yeah.
Do you have any other particular way that people like to tell it chronologically? Some people like to put groupings together. So I've had a few circus performers and burlesque artists. So we put all the weird nudity stories together. Usually, actors always their audition stories together. Comedians all their bombs and just the deafening silence from a lot of stand-up gigs. So is there any particular way you'd like to tell them?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the stories I have are actually from earlier in my career. So,
a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I wish I would stop. I would say I'm in my middle of my career, if not the downward spiral.
Yeah.
I still keep making a lot of embarrassing things. So
I think it's part of the industry, though, right? Like, you kind of got to put yourself out there and be willing to be embarrassed.
Yeah, but then afterwards, you're sitting by yourself in the car ride home, and you're like, fuck, I really hope they don't put a lot of that in the edit. And that's all the edit is.
Exactly.
It's
just the worst parts.
But even, I suppose, with a lot of your stuff, the followers, I know I said I wouldn't compliment you on it, but it's a very fun little
appreciate that. Thank you.
Web series, which everyone should go and watch. But yeah, there's a lot of like what would maybe be considered embarrassing to film at the time on that as well.
Well, it's actually part of a recurring trend with Goodall and Gallagher sketches is I often have to have sex with inanimate objects.
Now, who's insisting on that, might I ask?
Well, that's it. Weirdly, I'm the one that writes these scenes. But
the only person that writes them.
So if anyone has seen the series, it's I have to have sex with basically a paper mache version of a man. And of Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, an effigy.
And I have to really go for it.
You have to. I was in character, guys. All right, okay.
That was just behind the scenes. Yeah. I threw that in. I was doing it anyways. Yeah. So there's been a few times. There was another time on set where I had to have sex with a washing machine.
Okay.
And I was dressed like a robot. And just this skin-tight costume. And I was having sex with a washing machine for about 4 takes.
Yeah, right.
This was at my house in Newport.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that the window was open the whole time. So my neighbor was watching the whole thing. I've never met this person. And they just see me dressed as a robot, just having sex with a washing machine repeatedly. And the cameras were in the next room. So they wouldn't have even been able to see that I was being filmed.
Zero context. Right? Exactly. I don't know if the context makes it any better
no,
as well.
Not really, yeah.
But yeah, so they just watched you fuck a washing machine whilst dressed in what I'd imagine is silver spandex. Is that?
Pretty much, nice. Pretty much.
Did you speak to that neighbour again afterwards?
There was only one other interaction, and it was because their DoorDash food got put on my doorstep. So I took it round there.
Yep.
And she just opened the door enough for her hand to come through.
Look.
Snatched the food, didn't say a word, and slammed the door. I was like,
I don't blame her.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Went back to start eating her food, saw you fucking the top
Exactly,
dryer.
Yeah. She's got it on film. She was just like, never talking to that guy.
You're just trying to send her links. It's like, no, this is for real work, I promise.
She's just calling the cops inside repeatedly.
Yeah, just please, this guy's back at it again. I mean, that kind of stuff, I feel like trying to explain to people that aren't in the industry is almost impossible anyway. So it's maybe sometimes better just to move house.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Which I think you have done now anyway. So if that neighbour is listening, that's what it was for.
I apologise.
Yeah, it's art. You don't need to apologise for your art.
You don't need to apologise.
But back to some of our early career embarrassments, I suppose you'd say. Is that you find from not knowing as much and then kind of throwing yourself in at the deep end, or is it really just you just get used to being embarrassed when you've been in it for a bit longer, and so it's maybe you do embarrassing stuff now and you're like, fuck it, that's just the job.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I guess one of the most painful ones was dealing with a producer.
That sounds
okay. So a friend of ours, he's a mutual friend now, but he was actually just a friend of Luke's at the time.
Yeah.
And he liked our comedy stuff.
Nice.
And he was working, and I'm not going to name any names here, but he's a fairly big producer in the Australian film industry. He's working with them, and he said, we're thinking of like writing a pilot.
Oh, wonderful.
And we want to get some young, fresh voices in to kind of write this pilot. And we've seen your stuff. We really like it.
Nice.
I didn't know till we got in there that he really only liked Luke. Didn't really like me at all.
As a comedy duo, you have to like the peer review, right?
It was an odd one. Because he's a producer, and he kind of said to me, you kind of come off like a bit of an asshole. And I said, well, that's the character I'm playing.
I mean, what is
the comedy duo?
What is this?
It's acting.
Oh my
You're a producer. Surely you know this.
That is infuriating.
Yeah, so he didn't like me off the bat because of that. And anyways, we kind of started developing this this pilot with him, and we started writing it. And if I do toot my own horn, I actually reckon we did a pretty good job.
Can you mention anything about?
I'm not going to mention any specifics because I don't want it to be drawn back to anyone, because there's a few people involved in this story.
Okay.
And anyways, so there was one time he invited us in for a writing session. We'd written the pilot.
Nice.
He had some notes.
Okay.
And we were going to hear his notes, and he was going to make some suggestions. Luke couldn't come to this meeting.
Okay.
So it was basically just me and another friend of mine in this meeting, and our mutual acquaintance, who was kind of acting as a mediator for this whole process.
Yeah.
And anyways, I get in there, and this guy's just stone-faced.
Yuck.
I was like, what did you think? He's like, yeah, well, I didn't really find it funny, and I didn't like the writing. I didn't find one joke funny, and I frankly, I've written my own pilot. And so he wrote it on the plane on the way to the meeting. He wrote another separate pilot that he'd essentially commissioned us for free to write him a pilot.
So did he write a pilot off the back of your pilot using that idea, or just completely separate?
He just didn't like what we wrote so much that he's like, I'm just going to write something in 5 minutes on the plane, and it'll be better than what these guys spent a week writing.
What the fuck?
I know. And anyway, so I was like, I'm a pretty amicable, friendly guy. So I kind of said to him, would you mind giving some specific feedback about the pilot? Because I would just really love to know as a learning experience.
Yeah.
he's just like sighing the whole time. And I just sort of said to him, like, exactly. I was like, dude, we're working for free here.
Yeah.
And so he said probably one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in the entire time I've spent in the industry.
Wow.
He was looking at a joke, and this was the first joke on the page.
Okay.
And he goes, I don't like this joke. And he couldn't quantify what he didn't like about the joke. So then he says to me, you never start a comedy with a joke.
What are you talking about?
I just said, what? Come again? And then he said, you just never would. You'd never do that. And I said to him, I could probably list you 10 comedies right now that start with a joke.
I reckon that's in the fucking title.
Yeah,
comedy.
Yeah, exactly. And so our mutual friend is kind of watching this whole exchange, and he's sweating bullets because obviously this person is his employer, so he doesn't want to step on any feet. And I'm trying to sort of dig myself out of whatever ditch I've dug into, and this guy has just not given me anything.
I fucking hate feedback, which is just like, I don't like this.
Yes.
I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
That's not feedback. Yeah. That's just your like opinion on something, which is fine.
Totally subjective.
If you're watching a TV show and you're not doing anything in the creative process of it, if you're kind of your boss, give me specific feedback.
Exactly. It should be your job as a producer to give quite good notes on a script.
Your job.
That is exactly his job, and he couldn't do it. So anyways, we kind of, I said, look, okay, I'm sorry you didn't like it. Like, fair enough. And this guy's he's getting a little heated.
Oh, okay.
And I was kind of going like, I don't know what I've done here, but I felt like I was being fairly reasonable this whole.
Can I make a guess? You wrote a joke, in a comedy script.
Yeah, well, that was the main problem.
That was, I would be angry at that as well.
I know. Yeah, I didn't realize he wanted like Schindler's List.
Yeah,
otherwise I would have written something entirely different.
But Schindler just has a red nose on it, something like that. Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
So yeah, essentially we keep talking. It gets to I say, look, let's just put our script aside. Like, what have you got? I'm happy to workshop what you've got. And so
I'm happy to destroy what you've written.
Exactly. And that's what I was thinking in the back of my head. I'm like, I can't wait to take a steaming piece of shit on this guy's. And anyway, so he brings out this thing, and it's just like this scrawled notes. And he wanted us to act it out. But
so it's not like typed on a computer. It's not like formatted in a script.
It was like notes, and it was typed on a computer. So he kind of put half on the computer. So he gives me the kind of digitized half notes. I said, okay. And so we're trying to like read it.
Yeah.
So like do a cold read of a thing he's just written.
They always work so well.
Riddled with spelling errors. And so like every time I kind of stumbled on one of his spelling or grammatical errors, you could see him kind of like squeezing the table, just like getting angrier and angrier. I was like, all right. Anyway, so I said, oh, look, I think this is I don't think this is kind of working. So we just kind of left it as is. But like the end of the story is basically our mutual friend gets fired by that guy.
Oh my God.
Like,
what?
It turned into a whole thing. I can't divulge any of that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But it was a whole, it was just a terrible experience.
That's fucked on so many levels.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you agree.
No, that's insane. Like none of that is, and also like what you were saying, it was all for free, man. You're like, I've put in, how would you say, like 1 or 2 weeks worth of work into it, plus all of the time that like people don't count as our work, but like all the fucking training and
that's it,
getting us ready for actually being in that position. And then just to be like, nah, bye. And you're like, what? Come on, like at least pay for my fucking like Uber here or something.
Exactly. And there was none of that.
Yeah,
we would have to pay for our own parking. It was an expensive place. So yeah, it was an ordeal to say the least.
That sucks.
Oh well, thank you.
Do you know if that script that he scrawled in some sort of haze on an airplane, did that ever get made into
Nothing
the show?
happened with it.
Cool.
Yeah,
What a surprise.
which I'm secretly glad about.
I would love it if it came out and it was the worst thing ever.
I don't think. Yeah, the title he gave it, even the title was terrible. So we were just Anyways, I'll leave it at that.
No, we can move on from that. I want to ask so many more questions,
Yeah.
but I understand like diving into that.
Yeah, well, that's it. I don't want any mutual friends to get
a
like
little bit
thrown under the
spicy.
bus with that one.
Yeah, cool. But thank you for sharing it. That fucking sucks as well. Like there's some stories which I hear on this podcast where I'm like, that's funny. You can move on from it. Like, I don't know, you fall over on stage or like, I don't know, like a tip pops out or something. You're like, you can laugh about it afterwards.
Totally.
And then there's these kind of stories where I'm like, I'm almost kind of angry as well. And that's going to be one of the stories that stick with me. I'm like, oh no, fuck that guy. Like,
fuck
I'm
that
so
guy.
annoyed, man. This is just so like shit. This is what our industry is. Yeah. So thank you for sharing it.
Oh no,
yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Continuing on this trend now, do you have another horrendous one that you want to share?
Yeah, well, there's lots of them. So, like,
beautiful. Keep them coming.
So this is kind of more like a low-budget filmmakers would kind of relate to this. But
so everyone in Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly. So when you kind of have to like wear multiple hats on shoot.
Oh, it's great. Don't you love that?
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. And for anyone that's not in the industry as well, low-budget filmmaking is like it's a blessing in disguise because you actually get to make something which is so difficult to do. But
exactly,
you are. Transport, you're catering, you're the actor, you're the producer, you're sometimes the second AD, all on the same day.
Precisely. And you mentioned transport, so that was the other hat I was wearing, other than actor this day. And there was a fairly well-known Australian actor was going to be in this thing.
Nice.
And Luke was actually directing this.
Oh, fantastic.
And he said, do you mind actually picking this actor up from his house?
Oh, so you're getting this actor's home address.
Yeah, I said...
All right, so anyone listening, please DM after the show. We will give you that.
I can text it to you. That's fine. I won't tell you their name, but I'll give you their address.
I feel like you'll find out who that is pretty quickly.
Exactly. So anyways, we go... I was a bit self-conscious because my car is a piece of crap. Anyways, I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
I drive a tiny Mazda 2.
Oh, nice.
So it's like a little hatchback thing.
Yeah.
And I know this actor's actually a reasonably big guy as well.
No, we don't have to divulge information again. Are we talking big guys and like fairly broad, fairly
well, he's
tall?
big as in like status within the industry, but also like actually quite a tall man like me. So I was like, he's
can we start guessing?
Yeah. Oh, you can
Guy
guess.
Williams.
Look, everyone. Yeah, no, not that person.
No.
But so I get to this house.
Yep.
And you know when you get to a place and they have like split numbers.
Yes.
So there was two properties.
Yeah.
On this place.
It's like a 1/ and a 2/.
Yeah. So it was. This guy's fairly well off, and I don't want any slide to him, but this house looked fairly derelict, and I thought this can't be this guy's house because I know he's quite a well-off actor.
Yeah.
Or he does at least pretty well.
Yeah. Nice.
And so I went up. And I thought the second house was actually the house that I needed to be at.
Okay.
So I went up and the first thing I saw was a wheelchair ramp.
Okay.
And I thought, he hasn't told me this guy's in a wheelchair.
Oh, no.
And so I walk up the wheelchair ramp the whole time, just every step dreading, going, I don't have enough room in my tiny car for the wheelchair. And I get to the top of the wheelchair ramp.
Yeah.
And I knock on the door.
Yep.
And there was just nothing.
Okay.
And then I knock again and I hear someone go, and then I heard like scuffling, like feet going,
oh, like a little, like, oh. No.
And I was like, okay. And then they stopped.
Yeah.
And then I said, hello? And then I heard like a body had fallen to the ground.
Oh, no.
And I went, oh, my God, are you okay in there? And no one answered. And I didn't know whether to go in or not to go in.
And the podcast dog's broken in.
Podcast dog's broken. He's
scary.
He's on the edge of his seat.
Oh, God.
Essentially, I go back to the other house. I think maybe I can get some help from the first house.
Or at least know what's going on.
To see what's going on in this other house. And did you want to?
Oh, sorry. The podcast dog has broken in again. We'll stop here.
We'll pause. I can pause.
We'll pause. We'll be right back. I'm on the edge of my seat. Sorry, we are back. Sans podcast dog for this gripping conclusion.
Yes.
Mark possibly killing someone?
Yeah, look, we don't know. And so essentially I turn away from this house. I look at the other house and I think at least there's going to be someone in there who can help.
Yeah.
And I go to the house and again, I'm not throwing any shade at this person, but it was a reasonably derelict house. Yep. So I was knocking on the back of this fly screen door that's kind of hanging off its hinges.
Okay.
Kind of a little bit of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe, just that's looking at this house.
Exciting.
And I was just thinking, who lives in this place? And I said, hello. And again, just took forever for someone to answer.
Yeah.
And finally I hear this, come in.
Oh, no, thank you.
I thought, all right, do I go in this house? Because I'm not even sure I'm at the right house at this stage, and I think I just killed someone.
Am I walking into a drug deal?
Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? So I walk into this place, open the door, it's fallen off its hinges. I walk down, and then the actor I'm supposed to be picking up is just in front of a mirror, doing up his tie, like looking very spiffy. And I said, "Oh, I knocked on the house over there. I thought, is there an old lady in there? Because I think I heard someone fall over."
Yeah.
And then he goes to me, "No one lives in that house."
What?
I said, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, no one's been in there for a while." I said, "I swear I heard someone in there." He's like, "No, you wouldn't have." So anyways, like, I was just had total whiplash. And the guy's like, "You ready to go?" And I'm thinking, second ago, I just thought I'd killed someone.
Yeah. Then
I thought I was walking in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And now I'm thinking, I've gone insane.
Yeah.
Like, I've just heard someone that didn't exist.
And ghost? So, like, is there what's going on? I'm so confused.
I don't know. And to this day, I have no idea what happened in that house. So I got him in the car, and he's just talking to me. He's, where are you from? And all that kind of stuff. And my mind was just so on that house, just thinking, I swear, there's someone in that house. Like, did they need my help? Or were they breaking in? Should I make more of a deal about this? And
was that a giant possum that just finally died?
Died, yeah. And he just seemed so blasé about the whole thing that I was just like, okay, maybe I did just imagine that wheelchair lady falling over.
Fucking bizarre. Also, did you ever find out why this actor's house was maybe in a state of disrepair?
I don't know. Yeah, he could just be like the Christian Bale type who apparently rocks up to set in just a beat up car and just doesn't really put on airs for anyone.
Maybe he's I don't know, owns a few properties and he was just there for something. That's fucking bizarre.
It's a very bizarre story. So.
Did you drop him back off there at the end of the day as well?
Well, that's another story in itself. So the whole shoot, I was actually on the floor of a meat locker.
Oh,
and with a strap on.
And of course,
sorry. So this is, and I don't think that needs any explanation. We'll
move straight on,
yeah. And so I'm lying on pretending to be a dead body with a erect penis.
Of course.
And
pretending,
exactly. And this guy, again, multiple hats. I had to kind of wrangle him a cat at the end of the night.
Okay.
So I went out on the street afterwards and was saying goodbye and waved down a cab for him. And as he was kind of getting into the cab, he turns to me and he just goes, "You still got your strap on?" And I realized the strap on was still on.
Oh my God.
I just forgot to take it off. And so he was embarrassed because the taxi guy was looking at me thinking this actor had just come out of some sex party.
Oh my God.
And I think he was a bit shirty with me because he's like, "What is this guy thinking that I've just been doing?" And so I look at the cab guy and I had no explanation. I just kind of said,
it's not fake. It's a fake stick.
It's a film shoot." And he drove off very quickly.
Yeah, fair enough. So I thought you meant that the actor was asking if you still had the strap on so you could take it.
No, you still got your strap on is what I meant to say.
Yeah, right. So, my God, that taxi driver has that story forever.
He does.
As well. And that's like one of those ones like, oh, mate, what's one of the most fucked up things you've seen in a taxi? It's like, picked up this one famous actor once. This other really tall guy came out, full on erection, embarrassed the guy.
He was limping.
Took him back to this derelict house. I could smell a dead body in the house behind it.
I think I heard some old lady fall down.
The ghost of this old lady was calling for help. I went inside, there was no one.
He said, "There's no one lives there."
Did that film shoot go all right apart from all that then?
It was a really good shoot. Yeah.
Just the parts before and after.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was very strange.
I'm still really curious about this.
The dead body.
Yeah. I mean, like this not real person, this ghost.
Yeah. I don't know. And to this day, it's like maybe I had a brush with the paranormal or something like that. I don't know. It's like I said, it could have just been some stray possum. Snuck into the house. And,
you killed a squatter, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So
did you ever feel? And I would never do this, but I would always have it at the back of my head, being like, I know where this is. I want to go back and check now. Like under the cover of night, maybe go and like even see if there's like a light on or something.
Yeah. There's a glowing blue light. Yeah. Just a lady standing in the window.
Just like hovering 2 stories above the house.
Yeah, like Norman Bates kind of thing. Yeah.
That'd be perfect. Well, not perfect, obviously. Be fucking interesting.
Yeah, it would. It's a story. Yeah.
I also want to know why the famous actor lived in that house as well.
Well, yeah, look, maybe he's just like saving his pennies or something. Like, who knows? And like,
maybe they were going through a horrible divorce.
Potentially, you never know. But he was dressed in a very nice suit when I got there, and so
the real juxtaposition
really looked like an actor. After that, I thought, it's really just odd juxtaposition of this house and him. So
is it like, you know how you mentioned Christian Bale before, like people that really get into the character roles? Maybe he was playing like some down and out guy, and he was just staying in the house to get into character for his next big film or something like that.
Yeah, potentially. Like, yeah, exactly. And I think to some people just don't
give a shit.
Don't give a shit. They're just like, I don't need to buy a famous, like, I don't need to buy a big house just because I've got like some prestige. You know?
Oh, look, I'd never really particularly want to live in a mansion myself. Personally,
yeah.
I'd buy a nice house.
You'd
probably.
buy something, yeah.
If I could afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know, a door that's on its hinges.
Yeah.
And I'm not living next to a haunted house.
Yeah, or maybe he is keeping the ghost at bay. Like, that's his night job.
He's the keeper.
He's the keeper of the ghosts.
He made a deal with the devil. Yeah. That's why he's famous.
He's the key master. He's got to keep the ghosts locked away.
Yeah, he got back to that house as fast as he could. He's like, fuck, I need to go and put this
Someone
back
else
in their
saw
cards.
it. The realm to the other side is tearing through.
So was this pre-2020 as well? Is that
I didn't even think about that.
How dare
you?
How dare you?
Oh, God.
So, yeah, we'll give out your details at the end so people can just tirade you with all the hate that they can have for you. No, that was also like, you were like, sorry, you said before you've never done a sex scene, but I've never worn a strap-on before as well for filming.
Yeah, I was under a tarp. But it is kind of weird just wearing a strap-on for that long.
Yeah, right? And then you were saying dead bodies, just lying there with it on as well?
Yeah, I think what was weird about it was just how comfortable I got.
Yeah.
I could see myself doing
too comfortable
this,
as well, apparently.
Yeah, it's way too comfortable.
After lunch, you're like, guys, I don't need this anymore, actually.
Come back to my place.
But again, with that kind of stuff, was it like a self-produced kind of a thing? Or?
Yeah, it was a small gig. So
did you get to keep the props?
I think we still have it. I think Luke still has it at his place.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Some of that
Which
stuff.
I'm suspicious as to why he still has it. But
look, if you're listening, call in now.
What's going on?
Tell us what's going on.
What's that smell?
I made a short film once.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. A short film, yes, high accolades.
Hey, it's hard to do.
But and not to spoil the ending of it, even though the short film is 5 years old. Sort of one of the main gags at the end was a giant Batman dildo.
Oh, awesome. As it would be, yeah.
Of course, of course. So it was the wonderful Mark from Auntie Donna was having a bit of a breakdown about nobody believed him, that nobody had ever heard of Batman before, and he was an avid Batman fan. He kept pulling out all these things, like little colouring in books and like little toys, and then he pulled out this giant 13-inch Batman dildo. And like claiming...
I think I've seen that short.
Oh, have you?
Did you direct it?
I wrote it.
You wrote it? I've seen that short.
Oh, have you? Oh.
Almost 100% certain, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So, yes, but like buying that stuff, and then obviously they don't sell Batman. I don't know, obviously, but like I had to make that myself as well. But then getting to claim that back on tax that year.
Yes.
Possibly one of my favorite things ever.
How did you label it at tax time? Batman pleasure baton or something like that?
Nightstick.
Nightstick,
yeah. One of his weapons. Look, if you got hit by that thing, that would do a lot of damage.
Hey, look, it would, by the sounds of it, yeah.
We also sold that as part of the fundraising for the film as well.
Oh, great. How much did you get for it?
And
who bought it?
I was actually friends of the show, Claire Manson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was past guest on the show. She was also the manager of a very no longer around, and we won't mention the name of it, but very big Melbourne theatre restaurant.
Right.
Yep. But she bought it. The absolute pervert she is. I don't think she knew what she was buying at the time, but it was like one, Indiegogo or It was one of the tiers.
You could buy one of the props.
Yeah, I think that's what was like the titular prop or something like that. The cocktular prop.
The cocktular prop, yeah.
So like having to buy that stuff and then like transporting it around, you're like, man, if anyone ever looked at my car just now, like, I don't know how to tell. I'm a real filmmaker.
It is one of those things. It's just like after a while, you kind of stop explaining yourself to family members.
Yeah.
do you have that? Like I think like mum watches everything I do. And we just have a mutual agreement not to talk about it.
Oh, of course,
Because
yeah. And especially bring it up to like extended family,
Oh, yeah.
I just say I'm a barista. It's so much easier.
It's like, but I saw you with the Batman. Doing
No,
that. Like,
no. I think that was someone else.
Looked like me, yeah.
Sam. I think his name was Sam Newerhead. But yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then explaining yourself to, I don't know how you do it when you meet new people as well. They're like, what do you do for work? What do you usually say?
That's a hard one because, again, like I don't really like to say comedian.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because it's a daunting thing. Yeah, that's the first thing you always get is tell us a joke. I was like,
Yeah. No.
Not really. Not in the mood for that.
Follow me on Instagram, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Content creator sounds wanky as well.
Content creator sounds like a vapid. Like, I live in a, what do they call them? Like creators, man.
Yeah, creators house. Influencers like the worst.
Oh, that's
those
the
descriptions.
Worst. Yeah. So I'm the same as well. Like actor, they're like, what would I have seen you in? And I'm like, nothing. Nothing. If you don't know who I am, it doesn't matter. And then if I say stunt performer, they're like,
that's a good answer.
That is a good answer. Yeah. But the two main things are, how did you get into that? And I was like, trained for it and worked hard for it.
Yeah.
Like, not an accident. Like it's a lot of fucking work. And the second thing, people are like, what's your biggest stunt? And I never know, like nobody has ever been impressed by an answer. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know what the answer people want is.
Yeah.
But like, if you say like, it's like I've fallen off of buildings, they're like, okay. I was like, I've been on fire, and they're like, okay. I'm like, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Like, I died once. Yeah, cool. Like
that is an odd one. Maybe it's one of those things of just like when you ask how someone's day is, but you actually have no intention of
just say fine thanks.
Yeah, just say fine thanks. And then someone tells you, you think, oh, fuck, they're actually telling me. Like,
I wasn't equipped for this. Oh, sorry. I was just being polite because you said, hi, how are you? Whilst I was shopping in MacPack. I was like, fuck. All right. I'm good. Fuck.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be amazed personally by any story you told me as a stuntman.
Most of the time, and I say this quite regularly, it's being beaten up by far more beautiful Hollywood people and then lying in the dirt for quite a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
How was the fall guy for you? Is this a question you get a lot?
No, not too much, actually.
What was your perception of that movie as a stunt person?
So I'm very biased, and I will say this about every single movie that my friends are in.
Yeah.
At time of recording, you're going to go and see Furiosa tonight.
Yes.
I already love it because I had so many friends that worked on it.
Awesome.
So I'm incredibly biased. And
That's
same with Fall Guy. Fall Guy was shot up in Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had so many friends that got work on it. Even friends of the show, Ben Knight, one of the main characters in it. So like, fuck yeah, that's sick.
That's awesome.
Some of the stunts were unbelievable as well.
Yeah, they really were.
But the way that they portrayed stunt people in it was a little bit weird as well, because they're just like, a lot of the stuff they just kind of glazed over, and you're like, no, the blank bullets still kill people.
Yeah.
That's not how fire burns are done. Yeah. Like, that's not how you'd fall off a building. It was very bizarre, but like all of it was so cool.
So the attention to detail as a stuntman kind of annoyed you?
Yeah, but then the bits that weren't stunts in the film, so like people falling downstairs or smashing through glass, I was like, fuck, that was that was sick, man. Good on you, Josh. Like, it was great.
And that car roll was a world record.
Real roll. And it was.
Yeah, right.
Genuine world record.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Amazing. And that's not really a spoiler, but when he falls out the helicopter at the end, that was real. That was
that's
so
awesome.
Impressive.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So like, I loved it, but again, biased.
Yeah.
I love Planet of the Apes. Haven't seen it. Loads of friends in it. Yeah.
We are getting a lot more stuff here at the moment. I feel like we're getting some, because we had like a few things. I remember it was a big deal when Preacher got shot here.
Yeah. I auditioned for Preacher. I'm going to presume my NDA is no longer valid now. I auditioned for Preacher, but they never told me the name of the show.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I was auditioning for at the time.
Yeah, right.
And then years later, when I actually watched Preacher, I think I watched it during lockdown. Yeah. And I was like, that was the scene I auditioned for. That was meant to be me being blown up in an alleyway.
Sucks.
Yeah. But like, that was cool when it came here. But like, Australia's getting really good with it just now.
Yeah, it's really good. I feel like it's pumping.
Yeah. Keep it up, Australia. Keep giving them those tax breaks. And then, keep bringing more stuff here as well. Please don't just let it be 1 or 2 good years. We'll start coming towards the end of the podcast. Now, I know we have that incredibly salacious, sexy story to keep to the end. Did you have any other ones you wanted to say before the end as well?
Oh, look, it depends how much time we are.
Oh, look, we've got plenty of time. If you want to sleep, maybe let's do one more, which is hopefully a fun one. Doesn't have to be.
Yes.
And then we'll have that sexy
salacious
one,
story. Okay.
Salacious one for the end.
Well, you had my film partner on, Luke.
And you can just call me a partner. It's fine.
Look, he's my partner. He's my second partner. And I don't think he told you about the Goodall and Gallagher curse.
Oh, no, that doesn't ring any bells anyway.
So we have a kind of a long track record of whenever we get a big break,
okay,
whatever institution or person gives us that big break either loses their job or the company just shuts down or the show stops.
You've already proven your point with this with your first story. Oh,
yes.
shit.
Yeah. So, there was the, obviously he told you the story about the mutual friend. Yeah. And so we had our first big break was a comedy app called comedy.com.
Oh, cool.
And that was one of their first big pieces of funded content. They gave us money.
Oh, wow.
And that app ended up shutting down. And we were on a sketch series on Foxtel.
Oh, wonderful.
Lasted one season.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it? And you don't have to name it.
It was called The Slot.
Oh, okay, cool.
It had lots of famous people in it. Auntie Donna, Bondi Hipsters, Superwalk.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Who else was in? Michael Cusack.
How did they manage to?
It was well ahead of its time because it was a bunch of internet people doing a sketch show, and everyone was kind of in charge of their own sketches. But so like the lead producer kind of left, and like the whole show kind of like just caved. Like no one watched it. So we were like, yeah, look, clearly there were famous people on the show, but it was the Goodall and Gallagher curse that shut this thing down eventually.
Well, I mean, if you want to take your time to apologise to Auntie Donna, the Bondi Hipsters.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Did you see Superwog as well?
Superwog, yeah.
So they're all nobodies now. Nobody's ever heard of any of them.
No, exactly. They haven't all gone on to do amazing things. So, our deepest apologies. Our curse rubbed off onto you. We should not have accepted that deal with the devil at the crossroads. But
Foxtel are the devil, yes.
So one of the other stories we had is we were going to America and we were lining up these meetings.
Yep.
And we somehow managed to get a meeting with the head of Viacom.
Wow. For anyone that doesn't know, that is a big-ass company.
It's a big company. So one of our friends, Luke and I both worked at Apple, and we got a meeting with this head of Viacom. His name's Doug Herzog. And we kind of met with this guy, and side note, our friend who we took into the meeting with us almost shit himself before the meeting, and we were almost late for the meeting.
Like shit himself, literally?
Yeah. So my friend had like IBS or something, and so I was kind of nursing this guy in a toilet, but also simultaneously going, do I just leave this guy here?
Yes, leave him.
In his sickness
if I was
to go have this meeting.
I would be like, go. Firstly, I don't want you here for this anyway. This is my lowest point in my life. Don't look at me, please. But go.
Yeah. So we eventually we get this guy off the crapper.
Yes.
And we go and meet with Doug Herzog. And for anyone who doesn't know Doug Herzog, he greenlit South Park.
Yeah.
He greenlit The Daily Show. So he's a big wig.
Yeah, and huge.
We were totally out of our depth because at this stage we'd made 2 sketches on YouTube. And we were there to like pitch him shows.
Wow.
And we kind of got into the room. He was a bit late because he'd just been meeting with all the heads of the network. So like
he had IBS as well.
He had IBS. He was in the stall next to us. He was here. So they essentially said, he's meeting with the heads of Nickelodeon and MTV and all that. So he's going to be 5-10 minutes late. We said,
Jesus Christ.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. We're 2 YouTubers from Australia. And this was when YouTube was not a cool thing at all.
Yeah.
So we get in, we meet with this guy. Like the first thing he says to us is like, boys, you're going to have to catch me up because I have no idea who you are or what you're doing in my office. And we're like, so like we told him the story, and he was actually a really nice guy. He gave us like 45 minutes of his time.
Holy shit, that's great.
Just swap war stories with us. Yeah. Really lovely, friendly guy. Like 3 months later, there was a news headline saying like, Doug Herzog steps down as like the head of Viacom.
Oh my God.
There was like no real details as to why, because he's been there for ages.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh my God, the Goodall and Gallagher curse is real.
What did you guys
somehow
do?
Crashed the stocks of Viacom.
How fucking dare you?
Look, for anyone who, thinks South Park's gone downhill, it's our fault.
I mean, firstly, amazing to get that that meeting.
Yes.
Secondly, if you didn't know who you were, did you just make up, you're like, yeah, we're Australia's #1 YouTube celebrities, like we're fucking massive over there. We're actually come over here. We've got a few other meetings with a load of the other big guys here. just make up some names of people that you're like, they want us. You're lucky to have us here.
Yeah, well, it was a hard one because like I remember I sat right next to him, and he kind of looks me in the face, and he was just like expecting a really good answer.
Yeah,
and this is probably the most baller thing I will ever say.
Yeah,
but I said to him like, "Well, we know you run the networks.
Yeah."
So we figure if we pitch a show to you, you can just tell the networks to do it because you're the one that agrees to everything." And he was like, "I like that. That's great." So he was like fully in love with us after that. So,
I think the Australian charm can get you quite far.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
yeah.
hey?
Or he was scared of us. He thought this guy looks homeless and he's somehow gotten into my office. He might stab me. So
vaguely smells like shit as well.
What's that smell?
Somebody's stomach gurgling in here as well. Did you ever find out? Why he stepped down?
No, we have no idea to this day.
Wow.
I think like people say
just his
retired.
Time. Yeah,
like there was no. We just thought, oh my god.
Did you ever hear back from him again?
No. We wanted to meet up with him last time we were in LA. Yeah. We did not return the phone calls. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he knows.
I'm sure he was just busy, but
I don't know.
He's probably like, oh,
he Googling
Gallagher.
He's like, what the fuck? That was going so well.
Everything in my life went upside down after that meeting.
He Googled the slot and he's like, no, it's not. I've met with the Anti-Donna boys. No, I was fine after that. Goodall and Gallagher.
Those two.
Yeah, those two.
Felt a presence, an evil presence in the room.
With their literal shitty friends. Which again, as well, like my first ever story in this podcast was me almost shitting my pants.
Oh, nice.
Literally during a audition. So it's kind of been like, I haven't brought it up in a few episodes, but it's been like my magnum opus to find somebody that's properly shit themselves on camera or on stage or in a meeting. So I was a little bit excited there, I'm going to be honest with you. But
look,
it's also, again, it's for the best that it hasn't happened in my 70 episodes, whatever I've been doing this for now, but I'm still holding out hope.
We'll get there. Look, I shit myself in public fairly regularly, so it just hasn't happened on set yet.
Yeah, so. You've got, again, at time of recording, the Furiosa premiere tonight. I'm not saying do it.
It could happen. It could happen.
I'd take piss your pants as well.
I could do a Furiosa in the toilet, or in my pants.
Yeah, you can say that. You're like, I enjoyed this movie so much, I did a Furiosa and just ushered off the red carpet.
Got the guy with the mic at the end. What did you think of the movie? I shit myself.
Yeah. Ha, funny.
No, seriously.
No, honestly, I did.
It was that good.
Yeah. And then that's just on the poster from now on.
I shit myself. Random guy.
Goodall or Gallagher.
Yeah, one of the two. No one ever knows.
No, in brackets, the tall one.
The tall one, yeah.
So we've teased everyone long enough now, I think. We should probably move on to our final story for the day. I'm excited.
Yes.
I want to set the scene a little bit. Okay. Is this a recent thing? Was this something that happened again earlier in the career?
So this is, I'm going to give you a one-off story of what is like a multi-thread kind of thing. But I have, across my platforms, about 950,000 followers.
Humble brag. Yes.
So
I very
get
impressive.
Lots of DMs.
I can only imagine. Yeah. And again, Harry Potter fans, and I am scared for making fun of them, but they are tenacious.
They are tenacious, and I get some really strange DMs. But the strangest one was a guy, he basically sent me a picture of a box.
Okay.
A long, slender box.
Like a wand-shaped box?
Wand-shaped box. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay. And he said, what do you think? I said, what's in the box?
Oh, you replied.
I know, there's like 7. And he sends me a winky face. And then he opens the box.
Like a video?
This is a video of him. The next message was him opening the box. It's just a giant black dildo.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And he...
Oh, the podcast dog has broken in again.
These stories. He comes in at the juiciest moment every time.
No, right. She keeps on wanting to hear all of these disgusting details.
Do we want to keep him or we want to get him out for this?
I'll tell you what. I'll bring her over here. We'll continue the story. We'll leave all this part in. I'm going to take her collar off. All right. Making noises. But I would love to hear.
I love it.
I'd love to hear about your story with the big black dildo.
Yes. So, essentially, and I said, okay... Question mark? Like, why have you sent me this? And he says, I named him Mark. And I said, okay.
But Mark, that's your name.
That's my name. What? And then, so I thought that would be the end of it.
Oh, no,
and then I just keep seeing the little bubbles.
Yeah.
The typing bubbles.
There's 3 dots.
Yeah, they kept going.
Oh, no.
And I probably should have muted and deleted the conversation at that point.
Let's take out probably. You should.
I should have.
Yes.
But I was so curious as to what is this guy going to do next.
Can I?
You can guess.
Hazard a guess. I'm not going to guess
guess
out loud.
Okay.
And everyone listening as well. If you want to hazard a guess, what's happening next?
Okay. Yeah.
Does it involve some sort of magic? You know, like a traditional magic trick, making something disappear?
Like a disappearing trick.
Yes. Oh, yes, we are going to have to get rid of the podcast dog. She started to hit over the microphone and she's growling now as well.
Sorry, podcast dog. It's a little too salacious for you.
Everyone, we're going to be right back, okay? And we're back. Sorry, Sans podcast dog for the second time. We have got onto Marc, but also Marc, the big black dildo.
Yes. The two Marcs.
The two Marcs, yes. One more famous than the other. I'm not naming which one's which.
Yeah.
But what did you get as a reply? Or not even a reply. Did you reply to him after that?
So I just sent the question mark like, what?
Stop engaging! Sorry.
No, but this is the thing. I'm such a curious guy that I will engage with anyone. And
okay.
It's to my detriment. So I asked for all of this. And eventually I get a video.
Whoa.
And this guy, he was quite a nice, like skinny looking man. Like,
okay.
He's now in full bondage gear.
Okay.
And he's...
Can I ask, Harry Potter themed?
Not Harry
Okay.
Potter.
All right.
It should have been. Like, I would have been more in line with my normal DMs. And he's like suction cupped this thing to a wall.
Wow.
And this thing, no shit, is about 26 inches. It's massive.
Holy that is fucking
And this
huge.
guy is just downing the whole thing, like repeatedly.
Oh my God.
Like, and there's like some trance music on in the background. And I was like, okay. Part of me was terrified. And the other part of me was like, that's a big fucking dildo. He's actually, he's fit all that in his mouth. That's pretty good.
Of course, don't send this to people, but that is low-key very impressive.
I was a little bit impressed, but a little bit like, I think I need to delete this from my phone. I don't know what it's like.
Probably block.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, this is going to be used against me somehow if there's ever a data leak or I don't know what's going on here.
I mean, he has the screenshots of you not asking for it, obviously.
Yeah,
but
just
engaging.
like, yeah. Well, I actually talked to him afterwards. I was just like, hey, dude, for starters, just say hello to someone next time.
Yeah.
Don't start with the dildo.
Don't start with a hard sell.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, just chill. So... yeah, I got a brief glimpse into what females experience every day on social media. So,
yeah, well,
that's,
I'm sorry to you and every female out there, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But also, like, did he write back to you after that? Like, when you engaged with him on, like, I suppose, a human level more so than just somebody sending you weird things on the internet?
I think he started whinging about his job. Like,
what
after
was
that.
it? Did he say?
I can't remember. He was like some desk jockey. Like
he was head of a network.
Yeah, because head of a network. He's like, I used to work for Viacom. You ruined my life, and this is my like origin story.
Yeah. So he's just like, I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, right? Your bland office worker who is just the absolute like antithesis of what he is during the daytime.
Yeah.
But also like, just don't send random people that kind of stuff on the internet, maybe.
It's a bit odd, especially not with your face in it. Like, what are you doing? Like, and your name was attached to it. It's like,
also, it was just like it wasn't like a burner profile.
Standard name on the profile. Obviously, not ashamed of it at all. Like,
wow.
So he was fully on board for
and
deep throating big rubber cocks,
giant rubber cocks. Did he say? Was it a coincidence? Did he name the dildo before you or after you?
Look, that would have been great if it was a coincidence, but it was named after me. Yeah.
Like, obviously not okay.
Yeah.
Low-key kind of flattering.
It's a little bit weird. Yeah. There was another guy who named a sex plush toy after me as well. And
what was the plush toy of?
It was this weird thing. I didn't even know what it was. It was like an alien type creature, but I was like, had this weird mouth on it. Oh. And again, I was just like, dude, say hello first.
Yes.
Like, why are you saying this stuff?
Fan of your comedy.
Yeah.
Couple more sentences.
By the way, Harry Potter reminds me of this alien that I fuck in the mouth.
You know what surprises me? And like obviously that stuff's it's surprising to the extent of like that's pretty fucked, obviously. But like also like I've had weird DMs from people and stuff like that as well. And like it does happen. You put yourself out there and you grow your audience, and people like with podcasts and stuff, or like with all your comedy and with your online presence, people kind like they feel like they know you, so they get a little too comfortable with you sometimes. Yeah. Which is great. When people send really nice things about this podcast, I'm so fucking grateful. But then when some people send like, hey, can I draw you nude? I'll be like, yeah, bro, just start with like, hi, I'm an artist, blah,
and
blah,
make
blah.
the penis bigger.
Yeah,
like,
obviously.
Yeah.
I was like, can you Photoshop it?
Yeah.
I will be wearing a strap on. But yeah, like...
Yeah, it is weird, yeah.
It is strange you're not getting it from Harry Potter people more, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it is a strange one. But I get what you're saying. It's like people in... It's a different kind of... I'm not going to use the word fame because I'm not famous. But because you're in people's pockets.
Yeah.
Like they carry you around with them. And I do like daily, like every second day I release a clip. So people spend their time with me. And I think just some people don't have the disconnect to be like, oh, this person doesn't know me.
Yeah.
You know, like at all.
And I do it myself as well. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I follow a lot of people online, and I'm like, I know more about you than I should.
Yeah, I'm a bit like that.
Yeah, I know, and it's a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not usually broaching the line of being like, hey man, how was your sister's wedding 2 years ago? And like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, how do you know that?
Well, 4 or 5 clicks, I found all this information about you.
Hey man, I found your home address. Do you want me to like send it out to other people? So like that kind of stuff's very odd.
Yeah.
And I hate asking this as well, but I don't really. Have you got any weird Harry Potter DMs of like people using wands in ways they shouldn't be or should be?
Look, it is. There's just like there's a few people drawing me as Snape.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, or Sirius maybe.
Yeah, I get Sirius a lot as well. But Snape seems to be the one that like a bunch of people have a thing for.
Snape's a little bit more Rule 34, I think.
Yeah. So I've had a few people like draw me as Snape.
Draw you
in sexual ways. So
that's quite funny.
Yeah. So I'm too curious. I'll be like, it's a really nice drawing, and
that kind of stuff.
Start with a high. Like
I don't don't do this. Obviously, anyone listening, don't do this.
Don't open with this.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's quite funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird,
funny.
And I can get it. Like, especially imagine being like like I don't know, Jennifer Lawrence or something like that, where like people are sending you stuff all the time.
I can't even fathom what it would be like for those people.
Or like deep fake porn of you and stuff like that. Man. But like the occasional funny drawing of you is Sirius Snape with like, I don't know, a chastity belt or something on. That's pretty funny, man.
That's a little skin my pants.
Yeah, exactly. Snape wearing a green morph suit with a little bit of piss on it. Yeah.
That one was very accurate, that one.
Yeah, I think that was just a photo that somebody put your Sirius Snape's head on top of. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman. Yeah. But I think that's the perfect time to bring the podcast to a close. Where can people find you? Do you have anything coming up as well that you want to promote? I mean, obviously, I'd love people to go and check out The Followers as well, which is very much available on YouTube.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for asking, and thank you for having me on. I really appreciate being asked.
Pleasure.
Yeah, especially, I mean, great company with all the other comedians you've had on.
Yeah, wonderful guests.
Yeah, so essentially you can find me at either Marc Gallagher 32. Yep. That's my solo stuff. It's on every platform pretty much. And Goodall and Gallagher. Goodall and Gallagher is probably the last big project. The Followers is probably the last big project I did. But definitely check it out because
it's great.
It's probably one of the most elaborate Aussie web series you'll see.
It's fucking bizarre, and I say that in the nicest way. Like, even just the first episode, I'm like, and this isn't a spoiler, like, a friend of mine, Lexi.
I remember. Yeah.
Sunning her butthole in it. Yeah.
She was great. She was a good sport. She did up for anything.
Exactly, right? And like, very fucking bizarre stuff, which again, isn't spoiling anything, but it's about a cult. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, I play a Russell Brand-esque cult leader.
Yeah. In like, not the best ways, but all the worst ways of cults as well.
Yes.
So that's very fun. So anyone should go and check that out as well.
I appreciate that. Thank
you. Do you have anything coming up or like talk about anything just now as well? Or
nothing coming up, but definitely
keep an eye on the socials.
Want to see the socials? Yeah, I stream every Monday and Friday, hang out with me, play video games. And,
is that on Twitch?
On Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok.
Oh, so, fantastic.
Hang out on any of those platforms,
Marc Gallagher 32 as well.
Marc Gallagher 32.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm playing through all the old Harry Potter games at the moment on PS1 and PS2.
Well, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with them as well.
I am.
And God bless them, it was a different time. Hagrid is the most fucked looking
I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that.
They just like stretched a face over like a Russian doll or something like that.
It's a triangle.
It is so weird.
A triangle with a face.
Yeah. And then so many of those mini games are just trash as well.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Are you making your way up to Hogwarts Legacy?
Well, I played that on stream. It was one of the first games I ever played on stream, but we will probably play it again. Yeah. You know, majority of my fan base for better or worse, just wants to see all the Harry Potter stuff. So,
I mean, like, I'm not saying that you've done this to yourself, but kind of done that to yourself.
I kind of done it to myself.
Yeah.
So, like,
but again,
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the same for ourselves. Every week you got Muirhead, MUIRHEAD across the socials. Won't be forgetting that pod on the socials as well. If you can, please support us on Patreon. That is in the show notes. Rate, review, 5 stars, tell a friend, all the usual kind of stuff. I've got a little film coming out later in the year as well called Ancestry Road. So there's a trailer out for that just now. Yeah. I play a Scottish man.
Oh, cool.
I know.
Whoa,
Real stretch.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Filmed down in Tasmania, but set in Scotland. So any keen-eyed viewers from Scotland, see if you can spot any differences.
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, no, so I'm very much looking forward to that as well. So check out that. That'll be in the show notes too. But yes, thank you once again, Mark. And if anyone wants to send you some really weird stuff, we all deeply encourage it.
I won't screenshot it either.
No.
Go for it.
That is a joke as a disclaimer.